Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome in, everyone, to today's edition of the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. We are coming just on the heels of another Royals series sweep, the fourth perfect homestand in franchise history. I am Jacob Milham, joined by my illustrious co-host, Jeremy Greco. Jeremy, are the vibes immaculate amongst the Royals fan base right now?
I think they have to be, Jacob.
I would hope so.
I got to tell you, I'm drained. I set up a new workout regimen for myself where I imagine running the bases every time the Royals score a run, and I'm pooped.
Yeah, they gave you a lot of wind sprints this weekend, didn't they? They put my blood pressure up today in Sunday's game. Whew, man, that was a little bit of a rough watch at points. But alas, they walked away with the win over the visiting Detroit Tigers. Like I said, got that sweep, got that perfect homestand, and also they won the season series against Detroit. If you would have told me that to start off the season, I would think that this would be like clinching the AL Central, basically, not just trying to avoid last place in the division.
Yep, it's pretty wild. All I can say is, man, that bullpen was bad earlier this year. It's still not good, as we also saw today, but it's so much better than it was to begin this year. I feel like we do this almost every year now, where we say, man, if they just had this position group at the beginning of the year that they have now, they would be in the playoffs. Last year, it was if they'd had Mike Yastrzemski for the whole season, they'd have been in the playoffs. This year, it's, boy, if we'd had Nate Pearson and Steven Cruz for the whole season, the Royals might be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. It's a little frustrating, and unfortunately, this is going to be a big factor in the Royals offseason narrative. But we will talk about that once there is no more baseball to talk about. Once Game 162 is in the books for the time being, thankfully, we have 27 outs to talk about. And if you want to talk about the Kansas City Royals baseball with other Royals fans out there, make sure you go check out RoyalsReview.com, where you can stay informed on all things Kansas City Royals. We also try to do our part here at the Royals Rundown podcast. Make sure you follow or subscribe wherever you are listening to us at. All right, Jeremy. So now the Royals are 36-30 at Kauffman Stadium this season. They're 17-4 in their last 21 home games since July 5th. I mean, this is a very, very good run that the Royals are on overall, but especially at home. When you can go from Sunday to Sunday logging only victories, you go into an off day, you're nursing some injuries. Hopefully you can get back on the right track when it comes to that. But then, you head to Toronto to face off against the Blue Jays. I don't want to get too far ahead of things. Jeremy, what was something that stood out for you this weekend from the Royals?
Well, the first thing that stands out to me is you mentioned that record. There's 6 games over 500 at home, and they were talking on the broadcast today. Yes, I am watching every Royals game again because they're fun to watch right now. Yes. Crazy how that works. And they were talking about on the broadcast, they're like, the Royals have been so much better at home than on the road, and et cetera, et cetera. Before this homestand, they were below 500 at home too. So I don't know that that's the thing to hang your hat on. But the thing, I guess, that stood out to me this weekend was, it was the whole offense. The whole offense was there, right? Kyle Isbel, I think, doubled his season RBI total over the weekend. Vinnie Pasquantino didn't stop hitting. Bobby didn't have a good day today, but he hit several other days. Salvy's getting some hits. Nick Loftin's getting hits. Carter Jensen's starting to maybe come out of his slump. Everybody's hitting. And when everybody on this team is hitting, or at least 6 or 7 of them are hitting, because Isaac Collins is still pretty cold, they win baseball games.
Yep, that they do. And this has been a whole team affair. Even with this bullpen, the lineup, like Sunday's game was won by the lineup. There's no way to dice it between, Daniel Lynch, He didn't have his worst start of the season. However, he only went 4 1/3. Q pulled him before he reached 60 pitches today against the Tigers, and things just fell apart after that. The bullpen combined to allow 6 runs, I believe it is. But let's get back to the lineup real quick. A 915 OPS as a team between these two series against the Athletics and the Tigers, batting .312 and averaging 6.7 runs per game. Right? Like those are like individual numbers usually when we're talking about like, hey, this is a player right now is batting 915. But he's getting on base, no one's driving him across, yada yada yada. That's not happening right now. 7 different players homered in this homestand combined for 10 home runs. And they have 2 homestands remaining. They're 5-3 on their, or 5-3 on their 11 homestands this season. So you got some more opportunities to see these red hot Royals in Kauffman Stadium. But overall, the Royals have won 8 consecutive games. It's the longest active streak in the American League. It's the longest by a Royals team since May of 24. And believe it or not, that was when the boys are playing some ball got kicked off. And that caught fire because it was early in the season. There was still something to believe in. And I'm sure that if this was happening in June and May or even April, fan base would be even more excited about it. But right now it's more who isn't tuning in for Chiefs training camp over the Royals games. And if you're still tuning in, you're getting some good games.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have to just point out, Jacob, that the Royals only need to win 23 of their final 30 games to reach 500, which does sound crazy, but when I first started thinking of this number, it was 28 of 35. So 23 out of 30 does seem much more reasonable than 28 out of 35. So just throwing it out there. They're playing the Blue Jays, who aren't particularly good, and then they get to play the Guardians, who've been struggling. Then they do have to play the Diamondbacks, who are still fighting for a playoff spot. But this road trip could be pivotal. Pivotal. I can speak. Pivotal for their playoff odds, because 500 might get you in this year.
It might, and I am definitely not at the point to talk about that, but I will highlight something from friend of the podcast, Matthew Lamar. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
Can you imagine the Royals make the playoffs after the way they've played most of this season on the backs of Randy Dobnak and Daniel Lynch IV and Craig Kimbrell?
I will say this. If the Royals make the postseason, they've got a pretty solid 3-man rotation. It's that 5-man rotation that's been a little dicey at points.
Well, yeah, you save Randy Dobnak for the 4th game, and you hope that you've got a 3-game lead by then.
Hopefully so.
And Daniel Lynch goes back to the bullpen.
Yeah. But all that aside, this is what Matthew Lamar tweeted out on Twitter. The 2024 Tigers were 55-63 on August 10th. They then won 31 of their final 44 games. The 2026 Royals were 49-73 on August 12th, with 40 games remaining. They'd also probably have to win 30 of those games to sneak into the playoffs. They have won 8 of their last 9. So I am not on this bandwagon where I am going to say the Royals have a postseason shot. I will admit they have not been mathematically eliminated yet.
What I'm going to say is that Fangraphs gives them a 0.1% chance, which is both Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying I've got a chance and not 0. It's not 0.
It's not.
Let's reconvene in a week. If they win another 6 games this week, I think we got to start going, could this happen?
You know what? If we're sitting here next Sunday or next Monday and that has happened, yes, I will have a serious conversation. I'm still extremely flippant about it right now.
That would be 17 of 24 to finish the season at that point.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot.
It's still a lot. Still highly improbable. Doable. So I will
especially
have a serious
if you've
conversation
won
at that point.
14 in a row.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So I have a couple of reasons why I'm not jumping on that conversation yet, but I will disclose those if we have to have that conversation. Salvador Perez stealing a base today, huh? How about that?
First stolen base in 5 years. It was a good thing that Valencia decided not to throw
Yeah.
because Salvi, that slide into second was not pretty.
No, it was not. He has not been practicing that very often, I could tell. It was like if I tried to slide it into second. Man, but hey, it was really cool. It was really cool to see. That was like, I don't know, you go out to a Sunday game, cap off a homestand, no matter like what the team is doing. And I've gone to some homestand or some homestand finales, whether it be MLB or whether it be minor league, and you just want something to be like a positive final taste of the homestand. And like that was one of those moments. I know it got overshadowed by some meltdowns, but alas.
I've said I've been watching games. If Noah Cameron's good, if Jack Caglione's good, great. Neither of them were playing today, so I had to pick someone else. Obviously to me, maybe not to everyone, maybe to everyone. I don't know. Who do you think I picked today, Jacob? If you had to guess, who would I have picked for my guy to watch and hope did really well?
John Rave?
Yeah, okay, it is
Yeah.
obvious. Yep, John Rave was my guy I picked today, and he had a really good game. Homer, 2 stolen bases, some RBIs.
Yeah.
Homer
It
off a
was a pretty good
lefty,
game.
and it was a jackish kind of homer where it was just like he put a beauty of a swing on it. When John Rave's swing is right, it is a gorgeous swing. His swing is not always right. That's the biggest problem with John Rave is his swing is not always where it needs to be, but when it works, woo, baby. That's why I fell in love with him last spring training. And gosh, he got a hold of that sucker and said, "Welcome to the big leagues, Mr. Sears."
It was a
I
rough
didn't say
MLB
Mister
debut.
because I couldn't remember the guy's first name. That's definitely not why I did that.
Definitely wouldn't say that. Or like I will admit I definitely didn't have a tweet go out where I first typed out Ben Sears and like, oh wait, we're
Yeah.
not talking about the Royals prospect. We're
Yeah,
talking about
that's what I
another
keep
pitcher.
thinking of. Who I keep thinking of. It's Andrew, I think.
Yes, it is Andrew Sears.
I knew it all along.
Yeah, all along.
No one
obviously.
could prove differently.
Did you know that driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal? Driving high will get you a DUI. And if you're wondering if law enforcement can tell you're driving high, well, everyone else can. Friends,
I can tell you drove high.
parents,
I can tell when you drive high.
relatives.
I can tell. You drove here high, didn't you?
So what makes you think law enforcement can't?
I can tell.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
John Rave did have a pretty dang good homestand in his own right. 4 runs, a double, home run, 2 stolen bases, 5 RBI, and OPS over 1,000. It was a pretty good little stint there in Kauffman Stadium for John Rave, and he played a big part in today's victory. I mean, this is like today was one of those days where like it was the guys that we usually have some complaints about not showing up with runners in scoring position or with an advantageous count, like Kyle Isbel, Nick Loftin, John Rave, Salvi, like all those guys came and produced on Sunday. And like that was a big part why the Royals ended up scoring 11 runs on just 12 hits. They only left 4 guys on base. Like today, if you got on base, chances were you were coming across home plate.
Whereas the Tigers were stranded they put all the runners on and they stranded them all. They looked
Yeah.
like the Royals we were so frustrated about earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have any noble Tigers, but they came close.
Yes. Yeah, that they did. That they did. I mean, this really drug the Tigers down in their postseason hunt. Like now they only have a 3-game leg up on the Royals as I'm looking at this right now, or at least in the win column they do. So this is, I've always been a big proponent of if your rival is doing better than you, at least make sure they don't play more games than you. Like that was one of my favorite childhood memories as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Is like the Chiefs went on the road, I think it was, and the Broncos had to win week 17 to get into the postseason, and the Chiefs weren't doing anything that season, and they ended up putting a drubbing on them. I forget what year it was, but it was just like Yeah.
I remember there was a year the Chiefs needed like 3 teams to lose and they needed to win, and none of those games seemed likely to go the Chiefs' way, and then they all did.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was a
I
wild year.
think that was when they were playing the Bucks for some reason.
I don't know. They got knocked out in the first round,
But yeah.
very obviously, but
But you made the postseason, you can at least say that.
hey, if the Royals get knocked out in the wild card round this year, I'm not gonna complain.
I wouldn't either. I would not either. But like I said, we'll cross that bridge when it comes. Hey, you were talking about 2 of the players that you usually root for, Noah Cameron and Jack Caglione. One, of course, was not scheduled to start today. The other one was scheduled to start today, but got scratched from the lineup, and that is Jack Caglione. So he was scratched from today's game with more of that ankle soreness, still considered day to day. Should be a verbatim. He is expected to play on the 25th. That is
Yeah,
not
that's
he's
what I
going
would
to be,
expect.
yeah, he's not going to be reevaluated. It is going to be he's expected to play the 25th. We're still going to take another look at him, but this is just a safe move, which I don't
Yeah,
mind.
this was, we have the day off tomorrow. The ankle's still bothering him a little bit. Let's go ahead and give him 2 days off and let him come back and hopefully be strong for that playoff push.
Yeah. Jesus, Jeremy. You are really pushing this, aren't you? You're really going all in
Hey,
on this.
hey, listen, I
I'm
know it's not
listening.
gonna happen, so I have to enjoy it while I can.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And if we have that conversation next week, I will have my what's the word?
I
My
wanna be
gripes.
so I wanna be so clear that I'm not saying the Royals are in a playoff hunt or that the Royals are close to a playoff hunt or that I think there's really any realistic chance that they get back into this thing. But it's fun to pretend for a day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hey,
I'm
also, go ahead.
I'm a kid who started watching the Royals in '98, and until the day they were eliminated, I believed that they could come back and go to the playoffs. So, I you gotta understand where I'm coming from maybe a little bit.
There you go. Context is truthfully key. So this is I don't want to. We talked a little bit about the whole Jack Caglione outfielder, first baseman, a couple episodes ago. I don't want to rehash that. I'm sure that this ankle issue is going to be something that, for those who think he needs to be pulled out of the outfield, this is going to be the thing that they point to for the next couple of weeks at least. For right now, I want to talk about the current Kansas City Royals first baseman, and that is Vinnie Pasquantino, who the rumors of his demise were greatly exaggerated, it seems like. Did you know that he recorded his max exit velocity of the season against the Athletics?
Yep.
After the hamate stuff, that's when that happens? Jesus.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with David Lesky about him, and boy golly, I feel like I said this maybe Thursday, but I'll say it again just in case I didn't or people weren't listening that day. Because you don't gotta listen to every episode. Like, it
Not
would
every
be cool
episode.
if you did,
Yeah,
but I
well,
understand if, like, 2 hours a week is a lot to dedicate to listening to a couple of chuckleheads yak at each other. Vinny is taking much better swings now than he did at any point prior to the hand injury or prior to going on the injury list for the hand injury, which makes me think he had some kind of injury for a while before he went on the injured list because sure he was starting to heat up a little bit, but he just was not taking high quality swings. He was chasing a lot, he was out in front or behind a lot, he just never looked comfortable, and every swing looks ultra comfortable right now. And you could say, well, that's because he's hitting the ball so hard. And I would say he's hitting the ball so hard because his swings look comfortable. And he could easily have 2 more home runs on this homestand than he has. So the hamate is not affecting his power at all, and he's taking much higher quality swings. Though David did point out that his swing speed was not noticeably higher. I just feel like he's seeing the ball better, maybe not swinging better, but seeing the ball better and taking better swings. So we'll have to see how it goes. It's going to be really hard to be like, yeah, we don't want Vinny back next year if he finishes out the season on this hot streak.
Exactly. And to that bat speed measure over this homestand, over the homestand, Vinny's bat speed was nearly a full mile per hour faster than his season average heading
Well, there
in
you go there.
since he came off the IL. Everything about the bat tracking is saying yes, Vinnie Pasquantino is swinging the bat better. Like I look at that ideal attack angle, it's nearly up like 15% from his season average. Like Vinny does a lot of good things right according to the bat tracking data. He is just doing so right now at an elite rate, and that is helping. The process is helping the result.
Can you tell how what he's doing now compares to how he was last year?
Well, let me take a look. Give me 1 second. Do you want to
All right.
pontificate for a minute?
Yeah. If you don't want Jack in right field and you do want to keep Vinny, that still leaves the designated hitter spot as a place you can play one of them, or you can alternate them. I think there's probably room to do. I mean, the thing is that the Royals want to have Salvi in the designated hitter spot. And if Salvi, I was going to sit here and try and figure out how you could do like a 3-man rotation through the 3 spots, but that's dumb. Salvi should just be on the bench. I mean, right now he's hitting. Right now, the Royals need him in the lineup. But next year, Salvi's role coming into the year should be to catch twice a week, DH once, and not go near first base unless he's got a hit. And that's 3 days a week. That's it, tops.
Okay.
Unless he's red hot and they have an injury.
Yeah. Which is what really pushed him to first base in the first place.
Yeah, but that's what the plan should be.
I agree with that.
I don't know if it's gonna be.
I don't know if it is either. So looking back to Vinnie Pasquantino's 2025 season, the biggest red flag for me right now is that bat speed. Even what he is posting right now, an average of 71 miles per hour, it is still noticeably lower than his average 72.5 miles per hour
Oof, yeah.
in 2025. However, the ideal attack angle is still very much like he was getting better attack angles this season than last season on average. So he is very much higher than that. Let me look at because genuinely I don't know what his exit velocity was last year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Max EV is still trailing by a good bit. His max EV last year was 114.4 miles per hour. Right now he is 108.9 miles per hour.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty big drop.
Yep, and his average EV for right now, since he came off the IL, his average is 94.8 miles per hour. So he is nearly, every time he puts the bat to the ball, it's nearly a hard hit ball.
Do you have the EV90 there? I like the EV90.
I do not have the EV90 available here. So, but that is that
90th percentile exit velocity. So your average, you explain it, Jacob. I've brain farted.
You're the one who brought it up. What
I
are you
know.
talking about? Jesus. Okay, so it's like a batter's high end raw power, right? It's not that. So like his max EV would be that 100th percentile. Excuse me. So if you take it down just a little bit to that 90th percentile, where does that come in? It's a little bit, according to Fangraphs, it's a little bit more predictive of a future performance rather than just average exit velocity overall. So that is one reason probably why Jeremy brought it up.
It is the average of your top 10% hardest hit balls is what it is, the EV90.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah, and because you're not always going to hit your max EV, but your average EV doesn't really tell a great story. That tells a story of the times you were jammed as much as anything, which doesn't tell the story of who you are as a hitter. So that's why they and I like EV90. Let me see if I can find it somewhere to see how his EV90 racks up.
Which, speaking of that, I will say that Driveline Baseball had a pretty good video out this weekend talking about how much is that 1 mile per hour extra of fastball velocity. How much is that 1 mile per hour extra of bat speed? Jack Lambert broke all that down, and I think it's very interesting what we're talking about. These don't sound like massive margins, but we see guys get better with that better bat speed. Usually, we see guys get better with that added fastball velocity. Usually, so what is it worth to teams and to players? So I think that's a excellent question to ask and to answer in 2026. But overall, Jeremy, vibes got to be good for the Royals fan base right now. This is, we're in late August. Royals still are playing for something, whether it be pride, whether it be their 2027 roster spot, whether it be for the dollar dog nights on Tuesday nights. I don't know what it could be, but they're still playing for something and they're still showing a lot of energy. Andy Rogers was talking about how riled up the dugout was after that Salvi steal. Like, it seems like everyone is still in a good mood and they have a lot of reasons to be in a good mood right now.
His EV90 for the season is 2 miles an hour slower than last year. So that's, I don't know what it is over the last week. I don't have an easy way to look that up, unfortunately, but it is a pretty significant drop from last year. And over the last week isn't, it's just such a tiny sample. I don't know that tells you much. Anyway.
Yeah, it is. And the Athletics and Tigers pitching staffs aren't the savants of the league. They aren't amongst the best in the league, especially the Athletics. I mean, a lot of the Athletics pitchers, it's easy to point to where they play at home for their issues. However, the crew that showed up in Kauffman Stadium was pretty lackluster, to say the least. So, like we said earlier on, the Royals do have an off day on Monday, and then they travel up north to face off against the Toronto Blue Jays. That'll be an interesting series. We have Seth Lugo, Randy Dobnak, and Noah Cameron set to go for Kansas City. So I wouldn't say the Royals' three best, but as of late, two of the Royals' best pitchers are facing off against the Blue Jays, who have definitely not met expectations after going to the World Series in 2025.
Did you know that driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal? Driving high will get you a DUI. And if you're wondering if law enforcement can tell you're driving high, well, everyone else can. Friends?
I can tell you drove high.
Parents?
I can tell when you drive high.
Relatives?
I can tell. You drove here high, didn't you?
So what makes you think law enforcement can't?
I can tell.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
Jeremy, anything else on the Royals, this homestand, this series? Anything that comes to mind?
I know, just that it was pretty fun to watch. I enjoyed myself.
Well, if really, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think I mentioned this last time, but I ended up tuning into Tuesday's game just because I was sitting at home alone and I was like, man, I've spent so much time at my parents' house. I'm not used to being alone. I'm like, let me turn on the game for some people noise. And I was like, I don't expect them to play well. I just want some people noise. And then dag nabbit, they won the dang game and they just didn't ever stop winning.
Nope, never did. Well, I know that for a while there, you were tuning into minor league baseball to watch winning baseball. And, we got a pretty good dose of that today from the Quad Cities River Bandits, who put an absolute whooping on their competition. We got a win from David Shields. We got Ben North putting together a good run as an unsigned free agent. Thank you for pointing him out to me, Jeremy.
Ben North, what you got to understand about Ben North, he was an undrafted free agent out of this year's draft that the Royals signed. They sent him to the complex league for a little bit and then put him in high A. He is 23 years old, so he is old for high A, but it's also his first taste of pro ball. He somehow ended up with 6 seasons of college. I don't know if there were some injury red shirts in there. I think there was 1 year of junior college and then 5 years of college. So that's why he's so old. 23, so old.
So old, goodness.
So old. But he is destroying the competition since he got added to the River Bandits roster. Added on another home run today, and I think he might be headed to Double-A sooner rather than later. The Royals have been really slow to promote guys this year, so we'll have to wait and see. Carson Roccaforte, I don't know if we ever talked about it, did finally get promoted to Omaha.
Oh, yeah. Finally. Took him long enough.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. But I mean, he's been making plays out there for the Storm Chasers. He's been holding it down in the field. He has looked like he belongs in AAA. Is it perfect? No, but he does not look like, oh my gosh, this was absolutely too soon for Carson Roccaforte. No, it looks like, yeah, been here.
And if you want to talk about some minor league winning, you can look no further than the DSL Royals Ventura. Ventura, is that the right one? Yeah. With that's the squad that's got Angel Gomez and the third baseman shortstop whose name
Suarez.
huh?
Suarez.
Say it one more time when I'm not talking.
Suarez.
So, that's some pretty good talent out there, and they won their first playoff game. I think they're heading to a championship. I'm not really sure how DSL playoffs work. I know they made the playoffs and then they won a game.
Yeah. Yep, that they did. I saw the clips of that on-field celebration there from the team. So, hey, this is my little tinfoil hat. But we've talked a lot on this podcast about why haven't the Royals been moving up these guys from high A? Kendrick Churio, David Shields, Blake Mitchell, like the list just goes on and on about, hey, these guys, they're performing well in this area or in multiple areas. They need AA time to take that next shot. Well, they're still in high A. And as they are heading into this week, Quad Cities is going to face off against the first place team in, according to Preston Farr, what should decide second half first place finish. River Bandits right now, they're 9-1 in their last 10. So they're kind of mirroring what the big league team is doing right now. But you got Zion Rose there. You got all these prospects
Hit
in
his
high
first
A.
pro home run yesterday.
Yes, that he did. Off the top
First
of the foul pole of all
pro
things.
home run.
Yes. Affiliated home run, if you will. But yeah, it was off top of the foul pole. It was like, okay, you know what? Got that out of the way. Listen, I do believe that, hey, these guys, it can't hurt to have them chase some postseason success together. It can't hurt to have them chase this as a squad. And if you send them up to AA, they're not doing that.
Are you sure it can't hurt though? Because
I don't think
look
it
at
can.
Darlene Figueroa and I look at Blake Mitchell and I go, what are you developing in high A right now? You should be getting at bats against tougher pitchers in AA. Are you sure it's not slowing down their path to the big leagues?
I genuinely, it might be. It might be. But I will say, if from a people perspective, I think that there's an argument to be made. I think that there's an argument to be made that you show this group of guys that we can win together. That was something that was, it might have been blown out of proportion, but it was still something that was talked about with that homegrown group of guys that but contributed to the winning in 2014 and 2015, is that they won together down on the farm. So I think there might be something there. We saw it with like Bobby Wood Jr.'s prospect group as well. They did some winning down on the farm together. Of course, it wasn't a 1-for-1 translation. I'm not saying it's going to be that. But I'm saying it can't hurt at this point of the season. If they haven't already moved up to AA, oh shoot. I mean, it's a little hotter down in Arkansas than it is in Iowa, I would imagine. Although the corn sweats are a real thing. All right, corn sweats are an actual thing.
It's probably too late to promote them at this point, but yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I've also heard conspiracy theories that the Royals aren't promoting guys because they're looking to trade a bunch of them this offseason and they don't want to potentially expose flaws to teams before they do that.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's valid, at least.
If the Royals really intend to compete next year, I have a hard time imagining they're doing that. They're competing at the big league level and Blake Mitchell is still in the farm system.
I think that's a fair way to put it.
Which doesn't mean he will be traded, but if he's not traded, I don't see how the Royals gather enough talent to make a real run at 2027.
Yeah. So here's I had something. Okay. So because I want to remind folks where they can watch this baseball. If you don't believe in the Royals postseason shot, that's fine. That's fine. I don't blame you for 1 minute. But if you want to watch some other teams chase postseason success, River Bandits, you could do that on ILB TV, or DSL is tough to catch actual broadcasts of. It really, really is. I get the Instagram live notifications for when, hey, DSL Royals is going live, and whenever they go live, it's like 95% of the time. It's for their games. So if you hop on there, check it out. I For some reason I want to say that they've gone live on YouTube and on Twitter at some points through the Raising Royals accounts, but I'm
They
not
haven't
sure.
done it on Blue Sky.
Okay.
I don't know if you can go live on Blue Sky though,
That's a good point. I'm not sure if you can.
because
Or
I have my Blue Sky set up to give me notifications from the Royals Raising Royals account now, so that I don't miss. I want to be better about following. I've been writing about this team for 10 years. I want to be better about following the minor leagues now. So
I absolutely understand that. Also, I gotta, I ain't saying this is my guy. I'm not saying that. There's a guy that before this season started, I said, I think this guy could have a Noah Cameron like rise from a kind of middling prospect to a major league contributor. Southpaw Hunter Owen down in AA Northwest Arkansas, who
okay,
just had another stellar start. He got Texas League Pitcher of the Week honors last week and then followed that up with a quality start, 6 1/3 innings pitched, only 3 hits allowed, no runs, and 8 strikeouts from the left side.
Woo!
So Owen kind of similar to Noah Cameron, lost some time, lost some development with an injury, played collegiate baseball at Vanderbilt. If you're
Which is a
I'm not
great college to be from if you're a pitcher.
Yeah, that it is it's the Vanderbilt, it's the Wake Forest, and I think it's the LSU pitching labs right now are the ones that are held in highest regard. But yeah, so just wanted to shout that out. If you want more from the Royals minor leagues, I highly suggest you go check out Nicholas Batters. He puts out the minor league report each and every week from top to bottom. You can get the latest on what the guys on the farm are doing.
He does have a 6.45 ERA,
He does. I didn't say
but
it
I
was
guess
going to be
he's been
perfect.
pitching better lately.
Yes, he has. I didn't say
He's
it was
allowed
going to be
17 home
perfect.
runs and 38 walks.
Hey, that'll do it, right? Right?
Sure.
Sure. We'll say that. Listen, I'm not saying he's good. He is going to be Noah Cameron. I'm just saying I see some similarities.
Hey,
there.
I would rather talk about Hunter Owen next year in Omaha than, Scott Barlow, who's gone, or Scott Alexander, or Rich Hill, or
List goes
all
on
these
and
other
on.
guys.
Or Craig Kimbrell, for that matter.
Yeah.
Who got the save the other night, right?
Yeah, he got a save for his 9th major league team. I think he made it double digits for the Royals for different guys with saves this year. Good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the Royals are doing with the closer role right now. I guess they would say that they're playing the matchups, but they're all right-handers. It's Nate Pearson, Steven Cruz, and Craig Kimbrell who are going through there in the 9th inning right now, and I have no way of telling who's going to pitch, other than I saw that guy pitch in the 8th inning, so I guess he's probably not pitching the 9th.
Process of elimination, baby. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, Jeremy. Well, overall, a lot of only good Royals baseball this week. There were some ugly moments, but 7 more wins in the win-loss column, no more losses added. I will absolutely take that week in and week out and enjoy it
Their
while we can.
3rd or 4th ever perfect homestand.
Yes, I believe this was their 4th, if I recall correctly.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that it was. It was the first one since that 2024 season, not the same time the boys are playing some ball was coined, but earlier in that same season they had a perfect homestand. Before then, it hadn't been done since the 80s. So it's a pretty good company to be around. And overall, it has been a good team effort. Guys are batting, what is it? Nearly 888 OPS as a team over the 8-game winning streak, and the pitching staff has pitched to a 3.30 ERA.
When your whole team is hitting that well, it's hard to lose.
Yep, that it is. That it is. All right, Jeremy, what do you say we get on to some reviews?
One more thing before we go to the reviews.
What's that?
Mayor Quentin Lucas did an interview on the radio, and I don't remember who was interviewing him. I don't suppose you remember, Jacob.
Nope,
You're the
not
one
off
that
the top
put
of
the
my
clip
head.
out there. But
KCMO Public Radio.
Mayor Quentin Lucas said that he does believe that the Royal Stadium will go to a public vote. And he argued that the reason they haven't gone slower on this whole thing is because the Royals want them to go faster. And he also said that like they have opportunities to negotiate with the team. That thing that I had mentioned, the councilperson Duncan had said that he had heard is that the city would still negotiate with the Royals while working on the TIF district and other financial stuff related to the construction of the stadium. He said that they would still negotiate with the Royals. This is still not a done deal. It's just, another step in the process. And he doesn't want to slow roll it because he wants, if everything does get approved, he wants the team to be able to operate on the timeline the team wants to operate on. So potentially some good news, potentially some just saying whatever he thinks people want to hear. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't have a lot of faith, but my fingers are still crossed. As I tried to coin with a friend last night, I'm not holding my breath. My fingers are crossed, but I'm not holding my breath.
I think that's a safe choice here, Jeremy. It's that was such a surprising thing to hear the mayor say. I really don't know what this is. I would love for this to happen. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else you have said or what else you have done that would signal to me that I should trust this outlook from you.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at.
And given, as Councilperson Duncan said, given that how they've handled the negotiations so far with kid gloves, basically, he said, I have a hard time believing they're going to suddenly go hardline with the rest of the negotiations and actually get some concessions out of the Royals.
Nobody wants to be the mayor who lost the Chiefs and the Royals, right?
Well, do you want to be the mayor whose city can't afford anything because you're paying debt service on bonds to keep the Royals in town so that John Sherman can make millions upon millions of dollars in profit year after year and give you nothing? Because I have to remind you, Jacob, that the Royals will not be paying property taxes. Because the stadium will be owned by the city. They will not be paying a lease because the city said you don't have to pay on the lease. They will not be giving the city a percentage of profits from anything other than non-baseball activity, which is vanishingly rare and which can be accounted such that it looks like there are no net profits. The city is getting nothing from the Royals right now. Zip, zilch, nada. And the Royals would argue, the economic benefit. Listen, you're not moving to a new city. You're moving within the same city. The economic benefit will be, even if there was a huge economic benefit to having a stadium in your city, it would be exactly the same because the stadium is already in the city. I mean, it might go up a little bit. It's not $600 million.
No, not at all.
But I wanted to be positive, so I'll skip back a couple steps and say I hope that Mayor Lucas is being honest, and I hope that this all works out and that the Royals really want more of that partnership. They still keep saying public-private partnership. I keep hoping that they'll show us where the partnership part comes in and the city benefits.
Hopefully so. But all right. Thank you for bringing that up, Jeremy, because I was, after last episode, I was just like, all right, I'm not checking out stadium stuff for a little bit. I'm gonna be oblivious to it. Alas, here we are. So, all right, you want to start us off with reviews?
Yeah, sure. I have been watching baseball all week, so I haven't had time to get into anything super new. So I'm going to throw out one of my old favorites, my favorite Final Fantasy 13. Love the dickens out of that game. I understand why some people dislike it because the early trailers showed a very different game from what we ended up getting. But as a person who didn't watch those trailers and just took the game on the merits of what it was a super fun ride with really fun characters. It did have a couple really obnoxious characters. But hey, if you watch Evangelion, Hope isn't that bad, all right? I'm just saying. Just compare Hope to Shinji, and you'll be like, it's fine. Hope's not that bad. I adore lightning and snow. These are character names, not weather phenomena. Fang is a really cool character. Over the course of the trilogy, she's not great in the first game. Her arc is very small, but over the course of the trilogy, she does a lot of cool things. It is a game that is slept on, that got memed as being a corridor simulator, as if there have never been Final Fantasies that were corridor simulators before. The open world is not a Final Fantasy staple. It's never been a Final Fantasy staple. The only truly open world Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 15, which I think was in response to the corridor simulation accusations, and it hurt that game. I'm not saying Final Fantasy 15 is bad. I'm saying it would have been better if it had been a corridor simulator than as an open world mishmash of a bunch of different things. It's also a game that they didn't finish before they put it out, as I've heard it's so much better if you play it with all the patches and DLCs, and I believe you, but also that means the game wasn't finished, probably because they were trying to do too much open world nonsense, among other things. I know there were other development issues, but Final Fantasy 13, so good.
There you go.
And people shouldn't sleep on it. People should be writing to Square Enix and saying, Square, give me an HD remaster Final Fantasy 13 trilogy so that Hawk can play all of the games again and get all the platinum trophies again, because that would make Hawk happy.
There you go. And we want to make Hawk happy, right?
Yes.
Right. All right. There you go.
I'm Hawk. Just
Yes,
in case that's unclear.
If you weren't aware, Jeremy is Hawk. Hawk is Jeremy.
Jeremy Hawkeyes Greco. I just call myself Hawk sometimes when I'm talking in the third person. And when I'm playing MLB The Show, because Greco isn't a name that it can pronounce.
There you go. So my review is going to be on a movie that I have a very, what's the word? Divisive love of, I guess. The Blair Witch Project. Yeah. I believe it or not, I went to bed a little bit early last night.
Wait, you went to bed and turned on the Blair Witch Project?
Yes, I did.
You and I were very different lives.
I was all snuggled up in bed with the dogs, just watching the Blair Witch Project. It was nice. It was great. But here's the thing. Blair Witch Project, I can't imagine watching that like before found film horror was a thing. Like that being
that's what started found film horror.
Exactly. And like just thinking about folks seeing that in theaters and just watching it like not, is this real or is this fake? Like it had to have been scary. And it's not a terrifying movie. It's not a movie that gets me on the edge of my seat.
Scary for me.
I don't blame you. But because it's something that a lot of people get scared off of jump scares or like something truly grotesque looking and things like that. This movie, what makes it so unique still to this day to me, is this overwhelming sense of dread that it just gives you throughout the entire movie. And, I'm down here in Virginia, so like the area that they're exploring, that's one reason why I love the movie The Descent. All right. It's another found film, or not found film. It's another horror movie that takes place in a similar region, not the same, in a similar region. But alas, it's just different than what horror movies were for like 2 decades. You kind of get into the Saw era, you get into the Final Destination era and things like that, and they started leaning more and more on just overall shock value. And I think the Blair Witch Project, man, it is for what it is, I think it's a horror masterpiece. I think it's awesome. Now, I'm not talking about the 2016 one, which I think is just called Blair Witch. I'm talking about the original one, The Blair Witch Project.
We're old.
Yes, because we're very old. I have taste. God.
Did you, a few months ago, I think this had to be April or May, because this was when I was still watching every Royals game. Did you see the trailers for Passenger?
Yeah,
or the commercials for Passenger?
I remember that.
Those made me so mad, Jacob. Every commercial break, I had to immediately mute the TV because I knew I was going to get an ad for Passenger, and they were going to jump scare me. Jump scares don't belong in ads. Knock it off.
Yeah, don't do that. Please do not do that. That was pretty, for lack of better terms, that was pretty shitty. That was pretty mean.
I'm trying to watch a baseball game. Relax, hang out with my dad, have a drink, not jump out of my skin. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Also, that wasn't a terrible movie. It was not a good movie either, to say the least.
I would have assumed it was not a good movie.
Yeah,
If you've got to put a jump scare in your commercial, you're trying to jump scare people into the theater.
dude, I watched some old. So we are really on a tangent right now. I got on a physical media kick again. I get it every now and then. I get it with books. Now I've got it with VHS. So I gotten Emma, my niece, like a proper VHS player and some
Oh my gosh.
VHSs. Yeah, I
You're
know,
so
right?
old.
I'm very old. Hey, listen, man. There's something cathartic about tossing on The Mummy with Brendan Fraser on VHS. All right, there's something very cathartic about that. But also watching old.
But that's because it's The
trailers-
Mummy with Brendan Fraser. It's a terrific movie.
Yes, it's a great movie.
It doesn't matter if you watch it on VHS or DVD or on a potato. It's a great movie.
It might matter if you watch it on a potato. I don't know.
Nah, it's still good.
Okay, all right, if you say so. But
You'll never watch a
Trailers,
better
man.
movie on a potato.
trailers, man, they used to be so different. They used to
Yeah.
just give you enough to get you enticed into like
Mhm.
keeping track of the movie. So many trailers nowadays, they give away massive
spoil
parts of the
everything,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was so mad about the Captain America Brave New World or whatever, the Anthony Mackie Captain America movie, because they spoiled Harrison Ford turning into Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, the comic fans knew that. Sure, I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
And I
who
would
are
have
you?
liked to have been surprised. That
So
movie
there's gonna
might
be a
have
lot
been
of
more
surprises.
enjoyable if I hadn't been sitting there going, well, this is going to happen eventually.
Man, that was such a rough movie too.
It was, and it wasn't the worst MCU movie, but that's not a discussion we have time to go into.
Nope, we should probably save that for the off season since they won't let us write about movie reviews anymore on royalsreview.com.
Yeah,
wink,
I
nudge,
mean,
nudge.
I did kind of break the website.
In a good way.
Well, they decided to screw up the SEO. Now, our fellow writer, Matthew Lamar, who literally his day job is SEO, said that's not how that works, but whatever.
Whatever. All right, folks. We'll talk more about movies in the off season, believe it or not. But for right now, we still got plenty of Royals baseball to talk about on the next episode of the Royals. No, Jeremy, not yet. Not yet. Another time, maybe.
The Hunt for Blue October. That's my best Sean Connery impression. I hope you enjoyed it.
Shaka Trebek. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you so much for listening to us,
who is Sean
chuckleheads.
Connery?
Who is Sean Connery, and why is he telling Alex Trebek to suck it? What the heck? What is going on? That's a deeper cut, I would say, at least. But as we're showing our age and showing just how much of a chucklehead pair we are, make sure you follow or subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to us at. Or if you want some more tomfoolery, go check us out on royalsreview.com and join the comment section over there. For last time, I'm Jacob Milham. They're Jeremy Greco. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, go Royals.
Meet Keith, loving dad, board game champ, bus driving pro.
I drive 65,000 miles in my bus each year. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. Like how there are some things I simply can't see. On my route the other day, a car tried to sneak past me and ends up right in my blind spot. I turned slowly, so accident avoided. But no car should be in the blind spot for a 40,000-pound bus. It's our roads. It's our safety.
Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.